Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
With Juan McCartney is sponsored by J.S. Johnson, Commonwealth Bank, Burger King, Ron's Electric Motors, Island Wholesale, Wendy's, the Delty Bank Bahamas, and Airborne Freight and Cargo Services.
And good afternoon. Am I being heard? Yes, I can hear myself now. Good afternoon. Welcome to The Revolution here on 96.9 Guardian Radio. No, this is not Juan McCartney. This is yours truly, Kahun Ankusara, also known as Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. I am grateful to be here with you on another Friday. Thank Brother Juan for letting us take the revolution for a spin around the block. You know, every time you throw the keys every so often, you know, and we get to take a little drive around. And we're going to have a very interesting show today. Before we dive into the show, we just want to remind you that we do have telephone lines when we do open them. Is 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, of course. We are also on GuardianTalkRadio.com, streaming live. You can look us up also on Facebook, Instagram, all of the social media platforms, as well as cable and Flow. So make sure you tune in and let a friend know so we can all have a wonderful discussion today. It's been a minute since I've had an opportunity to be here with you. And of course, we know the month of February is upon us. And February is a time for many people. It's a time of love. Whether you celebrate Valentine's Day or Friendship Day, or, you know, you just decide to buy your loved one, your husband, your wife, your significant other, a present or a gift during this time. For many people, it is a season of love. So we're going to talk about love, but we're not just going to talk about love. We're going to talk about love, lies, and liberation. Say that with me. Love, lies, and liberation. Now the good thing is, I'm not here by myself today. You know, every so often I'm able to bring some guests on, and I got a special guest. Not his first time on this show or on this station, but he is the head scribe or the head priest, the Pope of the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah International. So many of you know myself as the head priest here in Nassau, Bahamas, but we have the international high priest or Pope here in Bahamas today. His name is Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma, and he's no stranger to the revolution. Good afternoon, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm going to sound very like you to say, good afternoon, my brother. I'm doing well, and as you've introduced me, and I've come all the way for the pastoral rights of Guardian Radio 96.9, I'd like to say to all of our fellow, no, we're not going to talk like that.
The radio voice.
We have our international Pope, and he's here poping it, and he's bringing forth a lot of popology. I'm like, whoa,
I set y'all up. I set y'all right up.
How you doing, my brother?
Hey, everything cool, man. Everything good.
I'm like, that's not me.
I know.
I'm a different kind of pastor. We're
Listen,
going to have a different kind of conversation.
They're going to learn today.
We're going to learn today. We're going to talk. We
Yeah.
can talk Bible. You know,
Yeah.
We can talk scriptures.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, we have to have real conversations.
Yeah.
If it's a religious conversation, it's got to be real.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to hear we going up someday to go somewhere and it's all going to be okay. right? Because too many of my relatives left this planet believing it's all going to be okay.
Right.
And they left us back here where it's not okay.
Not okay.
So we need to have real conversations. If we're talking about our economic situation,
Right.
too many of us are walking around saying, you know, good, just be good.
Right.
It's all going to work out.
Right.
Well,
How's that working out?
yeah. Or, you know, or job situation.
Right.
You just got to keep holding strong. Everything's going to fix itself. You know, COVID going to go away.
Right.
It's going to disappear one day.
Right.
And we're going to be back to normal. Well, hell, we didn't have jobs when it was normal.
Right.
So
Imagine now.
Imagine that. We better start creating. We better work with the system, work with the government, work with the power, whoever the sitting head is. We better start working with people.
Yep.
I don't ever want any leader who's trying to fix a situation to fail, because their failure is our burden.
Right.
So we got to change that. It's the same with the relationships, and that's what we're going to talk about today. One of the things we want to look at.
Right.
We have to change the conversation.
Right.
Everyone says we got to change the results, but the results won't change if we keep having the wrong conversation. We're trying to solve our financial situation, and we're talking about making bean pies and fish sticks.
Right.
We've always we're talking about fish sticks, and we falling apart in the family. Children are on drugs, and we say, but let's have a conversation about the Bible and the Quran. I'm like, that's a nice conversation in and of itself, and it's a needed conversation. But my son's on crack.
Right.
Can we speak about crack?
Right.
Can we have that conversation? And so that's what we want to do today.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah Journey Home Group International, for those who may not be familiar with us, we are a teaching church. As a teaching church, we understand that we have to have these kinds of conversations. What do we mean by these kinds of conversations? We have to be real with what's in the front of us. We can't just keep ignoring what's in the front of us and talking about what we want to happen or what we think could happen if we ignore what's really going on. So as a teaching church, we're going to talk about a wonderful event taking place the entire month of February. We can talk about other stuff as well, but I want to really put this on the table, and we'll bounce in and out of this as well. But remember I said this is the month of love, but this is not only the month of love. This is also the month of love, lies, and liberation. For some people, they know it as Black History Month. Yes? And so where does the love and the Black history and all, where does that meet? I would say it meets at love, lies, and liberation. My brother, could you explain to us what love, lies, and liberation is all about?
Well, the fact that you just said it meets at Black history. If we're going to study Black history, then we have to recognize that Black history is more than slavery. Black history is more than we built pyramids.
Right.
Black history is more than we did the first eye surgeries, brain surgeries, heart surgeries, ear surgeries, the first dentistry. Black history is also Black life. We say Black lives matter, but what makes a Black life matter? What brings forth Black life? Black life doesn't come forth without reproduction.
Right.
The very first commandment, if we're looking in the Bible, God said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So those of us of faith, right? I don't care if you're a Christian or Muslim or Hebrew, whatever your denomination, those of us, those women, those men, those amongst us of faith,
Right.
right? Because who want to have our faith, but we don't want our faith to be separate from our consciousness and our conscientiousness.
Right.
Right? Can we merge the idea of a Malcolm and a Martin? Can we take a Martin Luther King's faith and a Malcolm X's consciousness and awareness, and can we conscientiously and consciously resolve the two to be able to work hand in hand?
Right.
When we look at that, Black history says we as ancient people of the Niger Delta culture of West Africa, go
Right.
figure, right? The N-O-C-K culture. We of those of the ancient Nile River Valley civilization, of the ancient Amazon River Basin civilization, of the ancient Mississippi Delta, of the ancient what they call Antilles, Greater and Lesser Antilles, of the ancient what's called Indus River Valley civilization, Tigris Euphrates civilization. These melanated civilizations, because Black people were the only people on the planet at one time.
Right.
So if we're going to celebrate our history, their societies were predicated on two people coming together. There's no empires without two nations coming together. There's no nation without two societies coming together. There's no society without two social structures coming together. There's no social structure without two tribes coming together.
Right.
There's no tribe without two clans coming together. There's no clan without two families coming together. There's no family without two people coming together to form a couple.
Yes.
So innately, when we talk Black history, what was it these original women and original men, what were their ideas about relationships?
Right.
You know, so for so long we've talked Cupid. You know, Cupid, draw
Right.
back your bow,
Right.
and that whole idea of Cupid. So, but Cupid was a murderous story of them cutting out people's hearts
Wow.
and putting it in a box and sending it to your lover.
Ouch.
You know, as much as I like flowers and hearts, I don't think that would do. Right. So the energy behind it, I'm not saying throw away the holiday. We have a friendship days on February 14th.
Right.
We give flowers, we give candy, we give, plant gardens, we cook meals, we do all of that.
Right.
But we must redefine the energy, because if they say energy is neither lost nor destroyed, but simply transferred from one body to the next, then what type of energy are we transferring to each other?
Right.
Why do most couples one day, remember the old song, make up to break up? That's all we do, right? First you love me, then
Right.
you hate me.
Right.
That's a game for
Right.
fools. But we keep playing that game. So what does that make us? Now, we listen to that, and our African history, our Black history says, were there writings on this? And this is something I've spent the last maybe 2-3 weeks or so talking to people about and saying, Hindu culture, East Indian culture, beautiful, glorious culture that it is, they have a writing on sexuality.
Right.
Per their own ideology, mentality, and what's its social structure, called the Kama Sutra.
Right.
Black people will read it, try to grab pieces out of it, but innately, it's not designed for your and my consciousness, awareness, situation, circumstance. If I go to Japan, we have the Taoism or Taoism, some people call it. And that system within it speaks about male-female interaction, speaks about copulation, speaks about what's expected of children, speaks details,
Right.
culture.
Right.
When we leave that and we go to Greece, well, y'all know how that works out, right? Greece was a whole lot of
Right,
Greece, right?
right.
And so they're having a different discussion, but the Greek and the Roman culture of orgies and rampant sex and temple prostitution, that wasn't Caribbean indigenous people. That wasn't indigenous people of the continent. What did African history have? Did we have records on love?
Right.
Did we have poetry? The Malian papyruses, that was this unearthed, they say, or brought forth by Black people living in huts still, going back, the oldest now records they're saying,
Wow.
the Malian papyruses.
Wow.
These papyruses didn't just speak about astronomy. They didn't just speak about dentistry. They didn't just speak about mathematics. They spoke about love.
Wow.
But they used a word. They didn't use LOVE. They used a different word in their language, and in that language, it meant family.
Okay.
You see, most people, we get in relationships and we don't care about the family. We care about my feelings, right? We care either about the situationship. Yo, she's dead. Did you see it? Yo,
Right,
yo, player, you the man. High five, right? And most pastors wouldn't say that, but that's the truth. That's
Yes.
what most people see. You in church on a I've been in service on a Sunday and somebody walk in and I'd be like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Right.
You follow? Because you up there. No, it's real.
I thought it was just me.
You're being real, right? And it happens. And I'm sure there's women in the church and a man walks
Yep.
in and you'd be like, good Lord,
Yep.
he's arrived. He's back.
Right.
You follow? And how do we deal with that situation?
Right.
That's a real conversation.
Yeah.
That's a real conversation. We can't quote it away. We can't 1 Corinthians 11:2
No.
says and John 15:32, because John 15:32 don't be there with me when I wake up in the morning.
Right.
You follow? Reality be there with you.
Yep.
Some of the men know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Some of the women know what I'm talking about. Some
Right.
people are like, what are you talking about? Right?
Right.
But it's okay. They'll catch I understood the assignment.
Right.
Some people are going to understand the assignment about what we're talking about today. But the ancient people of Kemet knew that our history, our Black history, was predicated on 3 things, all sentient, aware, living creatures. Food.
Okay, you gotta get something to eat.
Gotta have food.
Yep.
Gotta be able to grow food, secure food, have water, all of those things that go with food. To wash, to bathe, to cook. Shelter / clothing. The ability to protect this physical shell with its weakness, the skin, the bones, the nerves. We're one of the weakest or frailest of all the mammals.
Right.
Right? And then reproduction.
Okay. Okay.
Food,
Shelter,
shelter, reproduction. I don't care what you believe, man, woman, tall, short, thick, thin, brown, turquoise, blue, black, purple, hazel eyes, ebony, mahogany.
Right.
You take what you are, food, shelter, reproduction. Now, if that is the case, the best way of obtaining food, resource,
Right.
water,
Right.
is coming together with someone or some group or some people working in the same mentality. The lions understand that. Lions
Right.
have a pride. X amount of women, females, they can fly.
Right.
They're going to get the Impala. They're going to trap it. They're going to bring it down. They have their own social structure for who's going to become the head lioness. The lion, he's not so fast, but he can handle them hyenas.
Yep.
So he has a responsibility. So their sex gender is in order. There's times the lionesses go to hunt, they leave all the cubs with the lion. And the lion will be sitting there with 7 or 8 cubs pulling his ear, pulling on his mane, biting his lips. And he's like, but he's teaching them how to be and interact with the males of their species.
Right.
Little boy lions, little girl lions are all learning. They're learning the do's and the don'ts of interaction with males of their species.
Right. Powerful.
Females are out hunting. Now, certain time hyenas are in the pride land. You know, Simba, right? Everybody knows Lion King. And when that happens, lion says, I got to go out. And he leaves the lionesses with the cubs. And him and the older men, the older boys, his sons, his nephews, they go out. And they go to clear the area. So they have a social structure of sex, gender, that ensures there ain't going to be no sex if you ain't worthy.
Straight up.
Straight up. The male lion, he going to be a boy, he in trouble if he can't step up his game.
Wow.
If he cannot hold his own, hyenas walk around slapping him around, talking to him all kind of crazy.
Ain't nothing happening.
He gonna be just, man, look at poor lion. His tail between his legs, walking around, just walking in circles. All the female lions, like, my girl, I ain't sleeping with him. He got beat up on Tuesday. Right? So there's expectations. But in the same way, every female doesn't give birth in the lion pride.
Wow.
Oh, she has to be worthy too.
Uh-oh.
Because they're trying to breed superior genes.
Right.
They don't want to just imagine for all the ladies listening to them. Now I'm going to talk to y'all like this and say, imagine if you could, if you could be with Denzel Washington in a relationship. I mean, you know the Denzel that you believe is Denzel. You know Denzel, not Training Days Denzel. No, but Pelican Brief Denzel. You know, Malcolm X Denzel. But that type of Denzel would be the superior man. Right? His ability to provide, his intellect, his ability to give guidance, to be a husband, to be a lover, to be all of those things. But what ends up happening, we end up having to settle for the available. And the available doesn't have to step up because society says there's no competition. We're no longer competing for your hand.
Wow.
And I don't mean the thugging and the guns and shoot.
Right.
That in competition, that's some other stuff.
Right.
I'm talking about having to be at a certain level to even capture your eye.
Okay.
Different conversation.
Yes.
And that's Black history. When you talk Osiris and Isis, that was Black history. Right. Osiris didn't get with Isis because she was like, yeah, you know, I was out here with my girls the other day. And what they were saying was, no, she was a queen. She was wisdom. She was intellect. Right. And Isis didn't get with Osiris because he was just some regular dude talking about whatever.
Yeah.
They had real Nefertiti, Akhenaten, Sheshonqona, and Nandi, the parents of King Shaka. Right. Koroma and Shishak of Libya. Mandela, Winnie, and Madiba. That's right. You follow these people. Marcus Garvey, Amy Jacques Garvey, Clara Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, Betty Shabazz, Malcolm X, Coretta Scott King, Martin Luther King. Right. Coretta Scott King was powerful. Yes. Because she was able to put the agenda ahead of her personal feelings when her man was doing what people, oh my God, he was cheating, he had a girlfriend on his side. So we're going to throw away this fact that this man was fighting for our liberation. Conversation. Again, don't get mad. You know, people always get mad as soon as you say what they don't want to hear. Black history was predicated and will have to be predicated on our reality. Yeah. We can't destroy families because you looked at somebody. Or I looked at somebody.
So, Bassess, the people asking, so are you advocating cheating? Are we saying that black people should be cheating or there's no such thing as cheating?
I'm saying black people need to step away from the fairy tale and get back to who we were. The idea of cheating is predicated on me possessing you.
Oh, say that again, please.
Idea of cheating. Again, I'm not saying don't get married.
Right.
I'm married. I got this ring, something on my finger.
Right.
I'm married to the church. But anyway, right? I'm married. Just a joke. Right? I'm married. But the idea that I own you. You're my husband. Really?
Wow.
How? I love you. How many people have I said that to?
Right.
How many times have I said it? In my life, how many women have I dated? And how many women and how many men have you said, as a female, I love you to? And am I to believe when you tell me you love me that you love me after you've said it to 10, 20 other people?
She meant it the 11th time.
It was the 11th. Oh, good old lucky number 11.
The one and the one.
One and one is two.
That's
Right?
us.
And so this is what happens. People end up, we're buying into an illusion. I'm not saying there's no true care.
Right.
I'm not saying there's no true compassion. We're not saying there's no true love. We're not advocating sleeping around. You got diseases out here. You got AIDS. You got gonorrhea, syphilis. You got new and improved chlamydia. It's back. It's got 12 stages of death.
Right.
We're talking about COVID, but we better wear some masks a little bit beneath the belt line. Right? But anyway, different conversation. Right? And so we're not advocating cheating. We're saying change the dynamic. Change the conversation. Have a different conversation. Love, Lies, Liberation 2022 is about a different conversation with viable solutions predicated on our circumstance, our situation, what we're dealing with. If I'm a single mother, I better change my concept. I'm a single father. I don't just want a relationship. I want family. I better find someone that wants more than just be in a relationship with me. I need to find someone who wants to help me raise a family. And there is a difference.
Love, Lies, and Liberation. Listen, we got 2 hours today. So we taking our time. We sat in this table, and we're going to talk about these solutions or give you a peek, because you really need to be at the event to get the full deal. But we're going to give you a peek of what's really going to be taking place every weekend in the month of February, starting this Saturday. Keep it locked to 96.9 Guardian Radio. Calhoun Uncle Sarah sitting in for Juan McCartney. Keep it locked.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh crack sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
We're good for you.
96.9 Guardian Radio, The Revolution with Juan McCartney. No, I am not Juan McCartney. This is Calhoun Anku Sarah, sitting with Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. And listen, we talking about love, lies, and liberation. A wonderful conversation taking place every weekend during the month of February. You can check out our website, journeyhomegroup.com. That's journeyhomegroup, all one word, .com. You'll see a poster for Love, Lies, and Liberation. You want to click that poster, and you can get all the information that you need from there. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but I know some people are in and out of the car, so we want to make sure you're able to get in on this conversation of ours. And so we've been, talking about what we as a people have been ignoring, quite frankly. We're not wanting to have this conversation. And then, of course, not just as a people, but people of faith. You see what I'm saying? Because many of us, we say we love God, we love the Most High, and, but when you start to say sex, it's like, ooh, I ain't really, you got to say that low. You can't talk.
But on that nightstand next to that Bible, the Bible might be on the top of the nightstand, but inside the nightstand, there's handcuffs, there's ropes and batteries and Duracell, little bunny spinning around in the drawer. There's other things going on, and no one wants to talk about that.
No. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. We want to run to the text line. It's a comment more than a question, but it says, is it safe to say that the liberal agenda is to destroy the natural family life, degrade the male figure as the head of the home, increase more mothers as head, hence no father in the homes, also create a society of dependency rather than creativity of one's own wealth and survival? Is this the liberal agenda is the question?
Well, the reality is we never want to get into the politics of it.
Right.
Because you can be liberal today and you're not liberal tomorrow. You can be, conservative today, and what a conservative says today, tomorrow can be deemed non-conservative. So I don't get into that part of it, but the idea of liberty, liberation. Liberation it is an agenda, right? But the idea of the liberal agenda being which liberals? Can we call it what Neely Fuller called it? A system of racism, white supremacy.
Come on. Yes.
It's a system. We rejected Francis Cress Welsing.
Yes, we did.
As a people. We rejected Marcus Garvey. As a people, Amy Jacques Garvey. We rejected even Bob Marley. We love his music now, but when he was making the music, not too many people were supporting it.
Right.
We've rejected Martin Luther King. All the people claiming the King legacy today, many of them or their parents did not support, didn't march, didn't sit in, didn't do nothing.
Right.
And then many of those are the same people now leading blacks as opposed to the black leadership. So it is an agenda of racism, white supremacy. No one likes to hear that.
Right.
Because it makes some people right now, constipation, runny belly, Pepto-Bismol.
Right.
But the reality is racism, white supremacy is a global system. I'm not saying this. Joe Biden said it, our great president of the United States. When they asked him, he said it by not answering the question.
Right.
They said, what do you feel about the fact that police are killing black people? What are you going to do about it? He said, isn't it wonderful the amount of interracial couples that are on television?
Right.
That's what Francis Cress Welsing, that's what her mentor, right, the writer of the compensatory of the counter-racist code, Dr. Neely Fuller, this is what they said: people who will divert the intelligent racists versus the ignorant racists. Racism, white supremacy is a global system. It could only be a system that relegates everywhere we go, black people are struggling.
Right.
How is that possible? Right, I can't go to India and show any other race at a higher position economically or socially than the people of East India.
Right.
Now, there's poverty amongst them, but the wealthiest amongst them looks like them.
Right.
I can't go to Japan and show that the wealthiest amongst the Japanese is a non-Japanese person or people. I can't go to China and do it there. I can't go to Europe and do it there. I can't go to the Arab world and show that in Saudi Arabia, UAE, Abu Dhabi, Jordan, Oman, that the Emirates, the Kuwait, that the highest economical or social or educational person or people in those regions don't look like them. But I can do that in our indigenous lands of the Caribbean. I can do that in many African lands. How is that possible unless there's a system in play?
Right.
And that system understands that the great Francis Cress Welsing, in a book that many people may have never even heard about, called The ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Colors, said that there's some people who are fighting to prevent their genetic annihilation.
Okay.
Because there's right now, and she was saying this in the year I was born, 1973. Neely Fuller was saying it before. Elijah Muhammad was saying it before that. And they were saying that there are people, white males, who understand that the genetic material within the black male and black female is superior as it pertains to reproducing offspring, food, shelter, reproduction.
Yep.
The hyenas fight the lions because they're fighting for territory that will ensure the reproductive rights of their respective species.
Okay.
So someone is waging a counter war. Someone is waging a psychological war. Someone is waging various forms of spiritual war. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities of spiritual wickedness, for those of us that are Christian, against another group of people, because your genes, and this is, you can go on Google right now, go to the Guardian newspaper in the UK, you can go to the New York Times, and they're saying Europe, China, Japan are dying.
Yes.
They're an aging population, and there's no children being born. We know how it happened in China. Chinese are very smart, brilliant people, but they didn't realize if you only have a bunch of boys and no daughters,
well,
you ain't gonna have many children. So now they're struggling. Japan, same thing. The United Kingdom, same thing. France, Portugal, Italy, Germany, Russia, same thing. United States, same thing. Meanwhile, they're all agreeing that Africa, yes, Africa, backward Africa, starvation Africa, the Africa that they want you and me to believe it is,
right,
is the next future. It is the future for the survival of humanity. Now, those who understand the numbers of it then realize Africa has the most arable land, the most land that's still able to be food to grow on, still has water tables, the Nubian aquifer that's available, still has all of the things necessary for survival, and there's more, have the ability to reproduce. And if that is not interfered with, if the family's not broken up, if I'm of those people who are dying off, who are only averaging one child per relationship, then I have to figure a way to convince you to follow my agenda, to the person's question, to ensure that you will only have one child per relationship, or no children at all in other types of relationships.
Right.
That's what we see happening. And I'm not attacking the LGBTQ, because I know people say, what you trying to say? I'm saying liberation, liberty. I'm not talking about your personal feelings. Everybody got a personal feelings.
Right.
Everybody got what they want to do in the bedroom. That's your choice. You're right. Knock yourself out. Go all the way. Go as far as you can take it. But how does that affect our liberation? Because gay is not the new black.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's correct.
Our situation ain't fixed. I can't tell what your sexual practices are, but I can surely tell if you're a melanated person.
Yep.
So that liberal, as the person asks, agenda is not liberal, it's not conservative, it's not Republican, it's not Democrat, it's not socialist. It is racism, white supremacy. And amongst all of those political parties, amongst all of those ideologies, amongst all of those religions, amongst all of those spiritualities, amongst all of those political systems, all of those educational systems, we are having a problem. We are having a circumstance that if we don't address it, if we don't have a conversation about it, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
In fact, we're already losing.
Yep.
And we need to do something to shift it. So love, lies, and liberation is a global conversation, not just a conversation, laughing, good time, but implementation. Everybody will say, okay, you have a right to be who you want to be with. But if you say, okay, and I'm going to throw the word out, the curse word. Y'all ready? Curse word. I don't know if I can say this on the air.
Let's see.
If you said polygamy, I can say homosexuality.
Yeah.
Oh, that's liberal.
Right.
I can say polyandry. Love what you want. Squirrel love, monkey love, don't matter.
Roller coaster, whatever.
Right? Bestiality. Open relationship. Situationship. What was the one, Will and Jada?
Oh, entanglement.
Entanglement. We can entangle with each other. I can have every term, but when we have that conversation, and I'm not saying who supports and who don't, that's not what we're here to do. But when that is a viable reality that we once had, and it was not relegated on side pieces. We didn't have side pieces in ancient times.
Come on now.
We didn't have broken families. We didn't have single mothers.
Right.
That didn't exist.
Right.
Because the society understood we don't leave nobody alone. You never seen a lioness by herself with cubs and no male anywhere in sight. You never see a female elephant. Every mammal has a system that they operate within.
That's right.
Except us. Because we were the only ones following other people's ideology. So if we don't sit down and have a real conversation, right? Because you see the question earlier, should people cheat? Are people already? Oh, some people say, I'll never cheat on my spouse. You mean when you're driving in the car and nobody's looking, you don't take a look? Because Jesus said, if your right eye offend thee, everybody should be walking around with patches on. Everybody should have a patch on. I should have like 4 patches. Right? Some of us should have a blind stick, the blind stick.
Yeah,
some of us should be walking all out. Everybody needs a seeing eye dog. Yeah. Everybody needs a clicker, right? Because according to scripture, if your right eye offend thee, poke it out. All of us as pastors, reverends, imams, monsignors, and every singer, because don't tell me you've never been somewhere and seen somebody beautiful and just took a peek. Yeah. Just look. You might be with your husband and your wife. Men were real good at it, right? You'll be with your wife, you see a beautiful woman, and you see her walking towards you. Look at the way she's dressed. Can you believe she's out here dressed like that? What kind of woman? Look at her. And if your wife ain't smart enough, she's like, yeah, you right. And you're like, yeah, I gotta look. Yes, a different kind of pastors on the air. 96.9 Guardian Radio, coming to you live from Nassau, Bahamas. We are crazy on the air today, but it's a real conversation.
It is a real conversation, and so a question that's popping up online is asking. So there is a system to dating for us.
Oh yeah.
Where's that address?
In the Malian papyruses found in 2008, 2009. Not found. Black folks who had it in Mali said, here, we've been having this for hundreds of thousands of years. Wow. And it's now considered the oldest records. Wow. And it talked about more than astronomy and science and architecture and medicine, but it also talked about love. The Adrinka symbols of Ghana, the great Ashanti, they have a symbol that's 2 hearts on top of each other. Okay. Before Cupid, go figure. Wow. Before Cupid, before Eros. Right. You follow? Before they existed, we had system of love. We had poetry. We went to war to protect our queendoms and kingdoms because of love. We were out there in the battlefield saying, I can't wait to go home and see my wife, my children. Right. We had love. Right. But it wasn't this Snow White. I always tell people, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel. Who else is there? Cinderella. Yep. Did I leave anybody out? Beauty and the Beast. Shrek. Right. Everybody got a Prince Charming. Prince Charming is polygamy. Yes. This man is in every relationship, and he just come kiss you, put you on a horse, and we're laughing. But the reality is, we got to stop looking for Prince Charming, and we got to stop trying to be Prince Charming. Right. We better start being Prince Shaka. Or Prince Karoma. Come on now. Or Shishonk. Yeah. Or Prince Manson Musa. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We better start being something that's more in line with our circumstance and condition. If we don't, definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. How dare we keep doing what we're doing as it pertains to spirituality, religion, economics, labor, law, etc., and expect different conditions or results. That is insanity. Let's stop being insane. Join us for Love, Lies, Liberation 2022. That's right. That's the Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma here on 96.9 Guardian Radio. My name is Kahuna Anku Sarah. Listen, man, this conversation ain't even hot yet. We just rubbing your back right now. You understand what I'm saying? Keep it
Only
locked.
If you're a lady, I'm rubbing your
I know, right?
I'm not joining him. I'm just rubbing your back.
Keep it locked here on 96.9 FM.
Electric
Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators, and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
Want to be the MVP of the party for the big game this year? Just take your favorite Frito-Lay chips, Lay's Stacks, or Tostitos and salsa to the party, and you will be the MVP and have a chance to win cash. All you have to do is purchase any large Frito-Lay chips, Tostitos, salsa, or 2 Lay's Stacks from participating grocery stores. Think you can throw the football? Well, come and play the Throw and Win game this Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. at Solomon's Yamacraw. Just throw the football through the uprights with instant prizes, including tablets. Frito-Lay, distributed by Island Wholesale.
And welcome back to 96.9 Guardian Radio, The Revolution with Juan McCartney. No, this is not Juan McCartney. This is Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Enos III, also known as Kahunan Kusara, sitting with my brother, my teacher, the Rev, Dr. A.J. Vama, Basesh Harohotep Tari. We got a lot of names and stuff like that. But we are teaching church, the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah. You can check us out on journeyhomegroup.com. That's journeyhomegroup.com. Talking about love, lies, and liberation, which is a conversation that's going to be taking place every weekend during the month of February. So you definitely want to check out journeyhomegroup.com. Get your tickets today, because this is just a sample of what's going to be going on. My brother, Dr. Vama, we got some texts. Let's just go through some of these texts.
Okay.
This one text that says, I mean, no disrespect to you two, but you two guys are heretics.
That's it.
That's it. They just dropped that one on the table.
Well, first of all, when you overstand the language, heretic means what? Hero, a heretic. That's it. So now Christ was a heretic.
That's right.
Buddha was a heretic.
Come on now.
Zoroaster in his
Generation.
generation. Anyone who speaks out against the status quo is a heretic.
Come on.
So we're in good company.
We're in good company.
Right? That doesn't bother me. Now, why would a person feel the necessity? Well, because most of us fail to realize this whole idea on spirituality being separated from life, from reproduction, from sex, from science, from mathematics, from education, that came about from one particular pope in this 15th, 16th century that said men can't get married. That said priests shouldn't get married. I'm talking about all of these types of things. So that doesn't bother us. Right. That's to the person, brother or sister. Thank you.
Thank you
for putting us in good company. Mandela was a heretic to the Afrikaans.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Martin Luther King was a heretic. Malcolm X was a heretic.
That's right.
Anyone who's not saying what's accepted is a heretic. So we are in great company. Right. Matter of fact, heretic me a little bit more. Right. Because that doesn't change the situation that black people are in. We don't care what we're called. We're trying to change the condition of a people whose world is being rocked every day.
That's right.
So thank you. We appreciate that.
So I'm hope you satisfied with that response, texter. Next texter says, great show. You should do this show every day. I don't know if this is how y'all sound, you know what I'm saying? But this is how y'all sound in my head. You know what I mean? So ask your guests, does the Bahamas have this system of white supremacy, and why some in media are afraid to talk about it?
It's not just Bahamas, it's a global. Liberia has it, Angola has it, Zimbabwe has it, South Africa has it, Egypt has it, Puerto Rico has it, Dominican Republic has it, Sao Tome has it, Vietnam has it, Cambodia, Burma, Aung San Suu Kyi, and them with the Rouhani, right? It's in China, Papua New Guinea. It's in Trinidad, it's in Jamaica, it's in Canada, it's in New York, Philadelphia, D.C., Florida. It's in London, it's in Brazil.
Right.
It's a system
Okay.
that was taken across the earth. Taken across the earth
Right.
by the conquistadors.
Okay.
By the people who were discovering new lands with people that had been living there millions of years, but they were discovering it. So the conversation is saying, what do we do about that system?
Right.
First thing is we got to recognize it. Then we got to recognize what effects it has on us each day. And one of the most direct effects it has is relationships.
Wow.
Expectations. You're a woman, you're supposed to cook my food. And it's supposed to be ready when I come home. And if you don't know how to cook, then I'm supposed to get me somebody else who can cook. And if you don't like the person that I'm getting who can cook, well, you can leave. Or I'm a woman. And you're a man, and you're supposed to, you came home, you didn't even tell me you were home. But did you hear the door close? And you didn't check to see if it was a robber? I mean, that's what I would do if I didn't think it was you. I'd be like, honey, is that you?
Right.
We follow, but all of the expectations that they're setting. And it's not just Bahamas. I've been around the world. I've been to the north, south, east, west. I've been blessed to travel. And in my travels, everyone is having the same results.
Okay.
Believing that their circumstance is unique. I go to Liberia. We Liberians, we got to be careful with us. We can't be trusted. Liberians are not loyal. Liberians are not. I go to Nigeria. We're Nigerians. I go to Jamaica. Bro, you got to work up to Jamaica. Man. I go to Trinidad. Yeah, man, we're here in Trinidad. I go to Bahamas. Everywhere you go, everybody thinks you're exclusive. No, and that's because the system of racism, white supremacy, is designed to make you think it's only happening to you. Because if you ever realized it's a global system, you might just come together and do something about it. But you won't do that if you believe it's only happening where you are.
Right.
You won't fix the family. Look for those people, in all seriousness, those people who say this conversation, how could they be a pastor? This man's not a pastor. These can't be. I say to them, I just flew in yesterday, in fact, and about a week or so, a little over a week ago, a young lady was killed.
That's right.
A mother with a newborn.
Right here in Nassau, Bahamas.
By her partner.
Yes.
And no one's asking what leads to that. I'm looking at the Guardian, Nassau Guardian today. Minister suggests government will criminalize marital rape. What's going? It's not me saying we need to have the conversation. It's front page.
That's right.
It's front page. It's news.
Yeah.
What is when we don't understand what love is your body's reaction to a chemical.
Oh.
To a chemical.
Wow.
People are calling love as a chemical reaction to oxytocin.
Okay.
To adrenaline, to cortisol,
right?
To echinophrins, to endorphins. It's an addiction.
Okay. Wow.
Food is an addiction. Sex can be an addiction. Drug use, alcohol use can be an addiction. But love can be an addiction. How many of us go from relationship to relationship because we can't have closure? We can't keep our pens in the pencil cases and pocketbooks where they belong. We can't keep our legs closed long enough to discover who we are and what we really want. So we go from man to man, and each man, or woman to woman, and each woman that I'm with, I love her. Baby, I'm gonna give myself to you. Is this us?
Give you the sun, the moon.
Oh yeah, he gave him the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountains. He gave her the world and all that you deserve. But then, like he said, and even more, like Dion Cole, right? So the reality is that's what we're dealing with. And as though we laugh, people are losing their lives.
That in all seriousness, we're not laughing at that situation.
No, people
don't
are
mistake what's going
losing
on.
their lives.
This is real.
People are brutal. There's men getting beat up at night.
Yep.
No.
Real talk.
Real talk. There's men in Bahamas, in Liberia, Tanzania, New York City, Philadelphia, that are getting beat up, punched, pounded on.
Yeah.
And because they were taught you're not supposed to hit a woman, no matter what.
Ain't no hotline for us.
Well, again, I'm not saying there should be one.
Right.
I'm saying we need to teach young women and young men love is your body's reaction to a chemical addiction. We can regulate that. If I go to a psychiatrist and I'm having a hormonal issues that's causing me to be mentally, chemically imbalanced, having suicidal thoughts, et cetera, they're going to give me medication in an attempt to regulate my body's hormonal production or lack thereof. Where's the hormonal medication for love?
Wow. Wow.
It's how we think.
Okay.
It's the concepts. You're trying to, I want to be the savior. How many times have we as men picked up a female that was not the type of female mama wanted us to bring home?
Right.
But we felt we could change her. I know I can change her.
Right.
I know I can do it. This sex is going to be so good. These words are going to be so good. Me confessing my love and the intent. We got to change that. And how many women suffer from that? So that's a real conversation. Love, lies, liberation. This is why we're telling people, get your tickets.
Yes.
Come online.
Yes.
Come on Zoom.
Yes.
Participate.
Yes.
It's going to have some surveys ahead of time. Anonymous.
Right.
There's going to be some couples in person and real conversations with adults. Get the children. Get grandma. Get grandpa.
Right.
Dust off those canes.
Right.
Get involved. Get some finger foods. Invite the friends over. Girlfriends. Get the book, Love, Lies, Liberation.
That's what I'm going to talk about after this break.
Participate.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just do our part as a true religious identity, a true religion that black folks can identify.
That's right. That's right. So you definitely want to stay tuned in because we're going to be talking about this book, The Science and Art of Sex, according to the Men Priesthood. 600 pages plus of information on everything we're talking about and more. We're going to touch on that. We're going to touch a little bit on marital rape because people have been asking about that. And we got some more texts and some phone calls to go through. We got news coming up, but keep it locked here on 96.9. That's why I keep looking up at that wall. I'm like, I better don't say the wrong thing. 96.9 Guardian Radio. My name is Calhoun Anku Sarah. Keep it locked.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Update on the Hour. I'm Cal Campbell. Thank you for tuning in. Here's what we're working on for you in the newsroom. The Davis administration's plans to rebuild the Grand Bahama International Airport bigger and better than ever is welcome news for some of the taxi drivers who say the current facilities simply are not good enough. From the outdoor toilets to the uncovered waiting area for taxis, taxi drivers say a new airport is long overdue.
Yes, the pandemic had made it worse. Yes, it had made it really rough for all of us because the main terminal has went down. The government and allowed Hutchinson to build this little trailer terminal. When it rains, everybody get wet. You guys stay in your car. Can't even get a cup of coffee on this airport. I ain't talking about water or soda.
Well, we have a lot of issues like they bring this outside toilet here and you have nothing for the taxi drivers just stay in. So with rain, we have to run in our car. When the tourists come out through the front of the building, they have to stay in there until the rain is over, unless we all get wet up together.
New F&M Senator Michaela Barnett Ellis was officially sworn in today after receiving her presentation of instrument and letter of appointment at the Paul Farquharson Center at Police Headquarters on East Street. Barnett Ellis will replace the outgoing Vianna Gardiner, who resigned from the Senate on December 31st last year. Bahamas Contractors Association interim president Leonard Sands advised Minister of Housing and Transportation JoBeth Colby Davis to look back and learn from previous housing minister Shane Gibson, who holds the record of building the most government housing, a record Minister Colby Davis has stated she will try to beat.
Shane Gibson did 1,000 homes. So to say it's not possible, we already know. It is possible. And I think everyone should be excited about the possibility that we can have 1,000 homes for Bahamians to occupy who've been waiting on this list that the ministry had to admit is pent-up demand. Tens of thousands of Bahamians are waiting on homes. So the first 1,000, I think, is absolutely possible.
Months after the popular Grand Bahama MP lost his seat, he is speaking out about the current state of the Free National Movement. Frederick McAlpine says while new leadership bodes well for the party, he doesn't think the Free National Movement is in a good place.
There are people who are now supporting Michael Pintard that did not like Michael Pintard prior to his election or his elevation to leadership. So if they didn't like him then, I hope he has enough political savvy to understand that if they didn't like you 2 years ago, what makes you think they're in love with you now? Other than to control you or to use you as a pawn to get who they really want there.
And that's what's on the news at this hour on the Guardian News Network. I'm Cale Campbell. Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Steady love. Ooh, steady love. Ooh, steady love.
96.9 Guardian Radio. The Revolution with Juan McCartney. No, this is not Juan McCartney. This is Calhoun Uncle Sarah, also known as Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. On live today with Basesh, the Basesh of the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah International, also known as Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. We've been talking about a wonderful conversation. I mean, we feel it's wonderful. And many of you who are texting in and just saying how appreciative you are of the show. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you check out journeyhomegroup.com and get your tickets each weekend in the month of February. We're going to be having this conversation. It's on Zoom. This week, our live stream will be coming from the Bahamas. We got Trinidad. We got Trinidad next week. We got South Carolina the week after that. We got London in the UK the week after that. So we're taking Love, Lies, and Liberation on tour. And it's important that we say that because what we're talking about is not something that's only happening here in the Bahamas or only happening in Trinidad or Liberia. It's happening all over the world. And so our guest today has written a book that we want to talk about. We obviously can't get into all of it. You can purchase this book here while he's here or from our website. But the name of the book is corresponding with the actual event, Love, Lies, and Liberation, and the science and art of sex according to the Min priesthood. Dr. Varma, just dive in because it's so much we could talk about. Which angle you want to take it from today?
We can talk about it from science. We can talk about it from art. We can talk about it from interaction, culture. Let me just look at some of the subjects that's talked about in the book,
right?
And why the conversation is being had,
right?
There's a whole section in the book called "Harmonizing the Genders." The question is, what does harmonizing the genders mean?
Right.
Harmonizing the genders, the polarities, means that we must harness the best part of ourselves, the healthy part of ourselves, not the self that we want to be, but the self that our genealogy, our ancestors, and our great teachers wanted us to be. The reason for this is because they wanted the best for us, and they didn't necessarily have anything to gain. Yet when we start talking about what we want in a relationship today, it's always about us. They wanted the best for us, future. We want the best. What you want for your spouse must be greater than just you and your wants.
Wow.
If not, when they get tired of you, they're going to leave you and I. If we as women and men can't exude something that is higher than the norm, then that is the thing that is going to hold us together. If we can exude, goes on, let us think back to the answers that we gave to the set of questions. In theory, a lot of answers that we gave wonderful because many of us tried to put our best step forward. If you ask people in an open forum, the answers are perfect.
Right.
Well thought out.
Right.
Articulated.
Right.
However, being completely vulnerable and honest with ourselves is lacking. We often edit ourselves out of fear of being judged by others and judged by ourselves.
Right.
And that reveals something about us that even in honest discussion, we still aren't sure how much of ourselves we want to let out. So much so that our worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your unguarded thoughts. Putting things to paper makes that you must confront your own thoughts.
Putting things to paper.
Yeah, because now you get to see externally, I can't believe I believe that.
Wow.
Another thing, I'm just flipping random pages, right? Last year's Love, Lies, Liberation 2021. We have some excerpts in here. Another page. Let's see. What about meditation?
So there's a link between meditation and love and sex and all that stuff?
Because energy, sex is two people rubbing, friction.
Okay.
You're producing energy.
Right.
What's that energy going to be used for? How does that energy determine the course of our future?
You mean it's that powerful? You could really determine, a couple could come together and see something that they want, and they can use this interaction, the sexual interaction, to get what it is that they want.
Yeah. Let us make man in our image, Genesis chapter 1:26. Let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and give them dominion over the fish of the seas and fowl of the air and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. And then goes on and says, be fruitful and multiply. So if you're being fruitful and you're multiplying and having dominion over fish and sea and fowls of air and every creeping thing, if the mentality behind that fruitfulness and multiplication is not correct, look at the societies that we're in now.
So are we to blame for the mess we're in?
We're to blame for not realizing that there is a system that's been put in place that has invaded, colonized, infiltrated, subjugated our minds, hijacked our spirituality, hijacked our economic system, because there was no poverty. There's no records of poverties in the Greater Antilles. Nobody was starving. Nobody was homeless. We didn't have homelessness in our societies. We didn't have prostitution. We didn't have all of the ills of society that we have today. But we don't understand that those things came about by accepting someone else's system. So yes, there is a correlation between meditation and sexuality. What forces govern, this is page 265, what forces govern the creative precept? The forces of pure living ether, of life and birth, thus creation, are forces that have all of the necessary formulas, chemicals, gases, elements necessary for life to exist. For this to occur, these forces have conscience and conscious laws.
Actual laws.
If there's law of gravity, law of levity, law of attraction, law of gender, then there's laws that dictate how these genders interact.
But no one ever taught us about these laws.
Well, Christ did.
Oh.
He said, what?
Okay.
Christ did.
He did.
He said, asking you shall. Seeking you shall,
fine.
knocking the door. So he was teaching us, you got to probe past what you're merely being told and investigate. In fact, they asked Christ, there's a woman. He said, That woman had 7 husbands. Each one that died, she married again. He said, all right, cool, what's up? In heaven, whose wife she gonna be? That's a sex question.
Yes.
That's a relationship question. Christ was answering relationship questions. And he said, man, listen, amongst the angels, they don't even marry by this system that the Romans are giving us.
Wow.
They don't even give in marriage the way the Romans are talking. Christ was raised in Africa. He said, your whole system of Rome and Greece, what's going on in Jerusalem with these Romans, these Herods, these Pontius Pilate people, their whole system, Christ was like, we don't even follow that.
Wow.
That's Bible.
Wow.
That's Bible.
And see, because I learned that all my life, but it was never put in that context.
But it's right there in front of us. Now, you may not like what we just said.
Right.
But the logic is sound.
Yeah.
The reasoning is sound. They asked him a relationship question. Jesus was answering questions about Somebody said, did they ask him economic question? They said, what say you about taxes? He said, let me see that money you got in your pocket. They pulled out a coin. He looked at it. He said, whose picture's on here? Whose superscription? Whose inscription is this? Whose image is this? He said, it's Caesar. He said, give Caesar what's Caesar and give God what's God.
Boom.
He answered an economic question.
It wasn't just all spiritual and spooky and
they asked him a religious question. They said, what's the greatest of all the commandments? Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one. He said, serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart. He said, Christ, what about the law? Should we be doing that today? He said, well, I didn't come to change the law. I came to fulfill. Till heaven and earth pass away, the law is not supposed to change. They asked him about work. Jesus, should we go to work? He said, what do you do for a living? We're fishers. Put down your nets, become fishers of men. This is what he said to his disciples.
Yes.
Then he had other people that was working. He had Nicodemus. Nicodemus said, I ain't quitting my job.
Right?
He said, Lord, I believe in you, but
That mortgage bill you got to pay.
That mortgage bill I got to pay.
Yeah.
Somebody asked him and said, what about being born again?
Mm-hmm.
Christ said, can't be born again unless you become like little children. Nicodemus said, you saying I got to go back in my mama's room? He said, boy, you don't even know basic biology. You can't go back in your mama's room.
Right.
He said, what about wealth? Should we be wealthy? Should we be possessed by wealth, or should we be in possession of wealth? He said, well, people that are possessed by wealth, is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a righteous man. For a wealthy man to. Now, he wasn't saying don't have wealth.
Right.
He was saying don't get caught up in your wealth.
Right.
Christ was being asked about politics. He was being asked about entertainment. They said, we heard you hanging out with the prostitutes and the strippers, the drug users.
Yes.
And you trying to fix them. And he said, I didn't come to heal the well. I came to heal the sick. Because they were going at him. Man, you hanging out with Lil Kim and Fetty Wap and what's her name with the red bottoms? I love morning sex. What's her name?
The Cardi B.
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
He was saying, hey, don't do that. He said, what about this lady here? She is prostituting. He said, all right, y'all got y'all stones here. Yeah, we about to do it. Just tell us what to do. He said, throw your stone if you ain't never made no mistakes.
Uh-oh.
Everybody put their stones in their pockets and walked away.
Start whistling.
Everybody want lunch? Right? So Christ was addressing life.
Right.
Muhammad, the Quran, is addressing life. Buddha is addressing life. Confucius is addressing life. And then we become self-righteous. Not righteous indignation, but self-righteousness. There's a difference between righteous indignation, which is fighting for the right for you as a person or a people to have self-determination. That's righteous indignation. Self-righteousness is just judging people without overstanding their circumstance or situation. The Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, through the Love, Lies, and Liberation series that we're doing the other way, righteous indignation. I'm never going to look, and you're never going to look, we're never going to look down on a person for being a person that is suffering from a condition of racism, white supremacy, of global oppression and suppression of self-determination. I'm not going to judge the person by being caught up on the drug. I'm not going to put the drug user in jail when I recognize the drug maker should be. How about we grab all the drug makers?
Right.
No, we're arresting the people that are really the addicts.
Right.
So I'm just using that as the example. Christ was addressing the situation. Most preachers, people, I'm a reverend, right? Revealer, to reveal reality that's right in front of you. Christ was a revolutionary in his thinking.
Right.
Muhammad was a revolutionary. They were speaking out against the system of oppression of their day.
Right.
And we should be no different if we're truly people of faith.
That's right. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Love, Lies, and Liberation. Give you an opportunity to throw some questions at. Well, don't throw them. Just ask.
You're about to say we're gonna go ahead and so we walk out the front of the building, stones start coming back. Uncle.
Yeah, let's ask some questions of Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. Producer, do we have any calls? Yeah, let's just jump to that first call. Welcome to the Revolution on 96.9 FM.
Hello, good day, how you doing?
Doing well, my brother.
Yeah, but just let me, first of all, just let me say, blessed is he, the word of God, blessed is he that is not offended in me. That meaning not offended in the word of God. Blessed is he that understands and knoweth me. That meaning understanding means to be in agreement and to believe. Now, I really want to come from, because these are the last days we live in. And when his disciples asked him, he said, what shall be a sign of your coming and the end of the world? And the first thing Jesus said to them was, take heed that you be not deceived. Now, to take heed means to pay more than careful attention to that meaning when he say that you be not deceived. Now, I like how Mark put
Hey, my brother, I don't mean to cut you, right? But we really want some questions. So, I mean, I no disrespect. Do you have a question?
A
Because
question.
we want to make sure a lot of people get in on the call. So
Concerning what?
The conversation we're having.
What conversation you're having?
We're talking about love, lies, and liberation. You weren't listening?
Yeah, it was. Well, you say that would have been the major topic.
So what? So that's fine. So what do you want to have? What is the question? We just I know I'm not trying to be rude.
Also, you want me to give you all the question?
Well, that's what we're doing at this point is giving people the opportunity to put a question to our brother, Dr.
Okay,
AJ.
let me ask him this question.
Okay.
What is the abomination that maketh desolate?
What is the abomination that maketh desolate? All right, I'm gonna let him.
I believe the call is talking about what's in the book of Daniel. The book of Matthew is what you're quoting from. And Jesus said, you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel. Well, that abomination of desolation is what's causing the world to be desolate. The abominable thing is that we are put creator and we are worshiping man, we're worshiping women, we're worshiping idols, we're worshiping music, we're worshiping misinterpretations of sexuality. That's the abominable thing. When you as a people and you and I as people begin to worship anything and everything except creator, Love, Lies, Liberation talks about that as well. Spirituality is a premise. It's a foundation of the survival of us as people of faith, of consciousness, of conscientiousness. The book of Daniel was a prophetical book. The abomination of desolation is also spoken of in Ezekiel 28. It's also spoken of in the book of Revelations, chapter 18, about the mark of the beast. It talks about the fall of Babel. Babylon is fallen and has become the habitation of devils. Devils is when Christ said, don't violate the law. Matthew 5:17. If we want to have that Bible type of conversation. Right. Matthew 5:17 is about not violating the law. We have gotten so far away because we've looked at other people's interpretation of commandments, of laws, of right, of language, linguistics, and we've gotten so far away from our true principles,
right? Okay,
which would include our relationships. So
let me add this to it, because why I asked you that was because why I was saying that because the Lord said what should be a sign. A sign is a prophetic event, meaning when you see these things taking place, He say, know that the end is at hand.
Right, and that end that is at hand is the end of ages. The end of ages.
At the door, meaning that even if you open your door, it could be there. Now, I say that because I was watching a program with this lady in New Zealand, and she was talking about the homosexuals, and she said it is wrong. And they took this woman, and they are now charging this woman because the abomination of desolation is being set up. And he tell you, it will be 3.5 years to the abomination of desolation being set up.
That's right. It's not just. But my brother, it's not just LGBTQ and all these other titles that people are. It's a system. It's a system of transplanting. It's a system of transplanting the ideologies, the philosophies, the cultural opinions of invaders and colonizers and subjugators, and forcing it subvertly, covertly, overtly into the minds, hearts, souls, spirits of those people that are melanated people. And we have a right to choose those parts without villainizing any culture, right, any group, any background. But we have a right to say, I reject X and I accept Y. I don't need to pick on X. I don't need to pick on Y. Mm-hmm. I'm choosing to reject that for me,
right,
and mine.
Give me a minute, and then I could.
My brother, we got to move on because we got some other calls we want to get to. 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Of course, you can reach us on the text line at 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. In studio is Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. We're talking love, lies, and liberation. We're talking about the fact that there are answers to many of the issues that we see plaguing our society today. you know, a lot of times we have these conversations and it's a lot of opinions being thrown around, and that's all good and well. But the fact that Dr. Varma is saying that there are actual laws that we're not really aware of or being made aware of. There's systems in place that have hijacked our original ways. The fact that in our original records, we didn't see a lot of the craziness or any of the craziness that we see today means that somebody knew that they were going to remove what we had, hijack it, put some other stuff in place, and now we got this craziness going on. How do we address it? We got another caller, producer? Let's take that call. 96.9 FM, The Revolution. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
How you doing, sir?
I'm well. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, good to hear your voice again, brother Uncle.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I speak to you on another radio station 2 years back.
All right, my brother. Hey, I'm glad you found me.
And I was looking for your place when I'm over in Nassau.
Mm-hmm.
And I sometimes I think I know where it is, but I was trying to locate it. I know
it's on Meadow Street.
Right.
The building that we were in, we had a fire last year. So we're two doors down towards Nassau Street in a temporary spot. But you can reach us at 426-1148, 426-1148, or you could just check us on Facebook, on Zoom, and reach us there.
That was the timely topic today, being as Black History Month.
Yeah.
4 years ago, I was taken out of the Western ways of thinking. I always was involved with the Rastafarian movement.
Okay.
In this country, like a lot of our brothers and sisters are, but I didn't know it went that further, much further than that. I thought Rastafari was the root. But now when I got my smartphone, and I just got this phone, but I didn't want, but I took that smartphone in 2018, and I did a lot of research on Black people, Black history, Black civilization, you know, so I've been in college for 4 years just studying on Black history and everything with the melanated, copper-colored people of this world.
Yeah.
Who've been on this planet, first on this planet.
Yeah, man.
First set of people on this planet. But I'm bothered because, you know, we live in a more Americanized society, being so close to America. And I'm always bothered that we celebrate everything that is given to us by these folks. But I'd be upset this time of year because I don't hear nothing in this country besides maybe you and another lady that comes on this station at 10 in the morning who gets down to the basic, some sort of basis of being a melanated, copper-colored people who's been on this plane for hundreds of thousands of years, in some cases millions of years. And we follow everything like we're trying to take out the Black history out of this month, and now I'm seeing everything as Valentine, and we get into the Easter, and we get into Halloween, and we get into all of these holidays. And I get quite upset about it because I think our people really don't want to they don't want to get out of this system we've been in. You know, there's some of us in this system who know the system is a fraud, but it's a majority of our people who don't even care to know.
Let me allow my brother, Dr. Varma, to respond to that, if you don't mind.
Sir.
Yeah.
When we're looking at this idea, and it's what the callers, the brother is saying, the system, we're not just tear down the system. No. Let's look at how we react to a system. Our reaction, the way we choose to react, because that's the variable we can control. You're not going to eliminate the system, but how you respond to it, how much of it you allow to directly influence your household, your community, your agenda, your goal. Because the same system, did it exist during Marcus Garvey's time?
Yes.
Did he respond to it the same way? No. Nope. Did it exist during Elijah Muhammad's time?
Yep.
Did he respond to it? So just because a system exists does not take away your and my right to choose to respond in an appropriate manner to that system. We, as the great Claude Anderson constantly says, we have inappropriate behavior.
Right.
We're responding in an inappropriate way. If you slap me, kick me, throw me down the steps, I'm not supposed to stand up and go, thank you so much. Oh my, can you do it one more time?
Right.
Everybody be like, what? You would know something's wrong. We're supposed to stand up and either run, stand up and push back, stand up and close the door so you don't keep coming down the steps and throwing me down the next flight, but do something that is more appropriate in our response. And so that, to the caller, we have the ability to change our response. The variable you and I can control is our response, and then innately, our preemptive. We have to move from just being reactionary and move towards being preemptive. Move towards just moving a checker piece to seeing the entire chessboard before the move is even made. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about survival, love, lies, liberation. This event that we're doing in Bahamas tomorrow and via the live stream on Zoom, it is predicated on now developing in real time by retracing the past, by looking at what Garvey did, looking at what Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, Madiba Mandela, Winnie Mandela, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, or this whole wealth of experience, as you said, as a gentleman, as you've said, going back and retracing our history, our story, and our responses during these different situations towards Black Wall Street even, and now taking the wealth of experience and information that provides for us and then blueprinting today, this moment, this right now, to determine the future, if there will be one, for us that we're headed towards.
So, my brother, I pray that you can go on our website, journeyhomegroup.com, and just support what we're doing. You know, the fact that you may not hear this kind of conversation as much as you want, a lot of it is based on just support.
Get your tickets.
Get your tickets. You see what I'm saying?
JourneyHomeGroup.com. Click on the Journey Home Group, JOURNEY, Home, HOME, Group, GROUP. One word, no space. Doesn't matter, capital or lowercase. .com. Click on the flyer that says Love, Lies, Liberation. You can get the whole 4-week event, or you can get 1 week. You can pick one Saturday. Look at the title. Look at what's going to be discussed and shared. Click on that title, Eventbrite. Get your tickets. Join us. This is that time.
96.9 Guardian Radio. We got to run to a break. Kahu and Uncle Sarah sitting in for Juan McCartney here on The Revolution. Keep it locked.
We believe in relationship banking. We take pride in getting to know our clients. You have access to knowledgeable, approachable ambassadors and financial coaches so that we can recommend the best product for you. At Fidelity, we care about you. From your financial health to your physical health, we can relate to you because we're just like you. Come and start your relationship banking experience with us today. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Visit any of our branches in Nassau or Grand Bahama, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau, or 352-6676 for Freeport.
Good day, Airborne Freight and Cargo Services. How may I help you today?
Hey, listen, I just heard about you all, man.
Yes, sir. How may I help you, sir?
I hear you all giving out free things. And I's a mom with 12 children. I love free things.
Well, yes, sir. If you're ordering with Airborne Freight and Cargo Services for the first time, we will be giving you prizes just for shipping with us.
Hold on, wait. What all y'all giving out so?
Well, we're giving away gas vouchers, coupons from various outlets, up to 20% off your shipping fee, and so much more.
Could y'all please stop slamming my door? None of y'all pay no bills inside you. Sorry about that, Mom. Hey, y'all is ship double shoulders cause this woman expecting twins again, Dread.
Airborne Freight and Cargo Services. Get rewarded for being a new customer on top of our already low rates. Call us at 377-0450 or visit us on Facebook at Ship Airborne for more information.
Here we go. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents are the best. Reliable service, we've been on the scene. Mr. J.S. Johnson Insurance, peace of mind. Steady love. Ooh, steady love.
And welcome back to 96.9 Guardian Radio, The Revolution with Juan McCartney. No, this is not Juan McCartney. This is Kahunan Kusara, also known as Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. I'm here with my teacher, my brother, our head scribe of the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah International, Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. We've been talking about this wonderful event coming up each weekend in the month of February, Love, Lies, and Liberation. And you've been throwing some questions or asking some questions. And we got another one on the text line before we go back to the phone lines. Texas says, great show, enjoying it. Your guest is very sharp and wise. Your caller about the Rasta movement, Church of Black Israel, etc. What's the difference between your belief or philosophy and theirs? Is it one, search for truth, especially of black or people of color?
First and foremost, we have what's referred to as the original books of the Bible, where the Bible, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, etc., all the way through Revelations. The original text, we don't, not necessarily Corinthians and Colossians, though we read them, but the original text, the Old Testament, is translated word by word, painstakingly, I know because I'm doing it, with an African theological approach and cosmological approach. And when we look at that, in the beginning of it, we have a page that shows all of our great popes, like the Catholic Bible. If you go inside of the New American Standard Version of the Catholic Bible, they give you a list of all of the popes going back to the first pope, St. Peter. Well, we do the same thing, but our Tonus popes have Jomo Kenyatta on the list, has Steve Biko on the list, has Ivan Van Sertima on the list, has Francis Cress Welsing and Marimba Annie and Clenora Hudson Weems, and has Dr. Henry Clark, has Haile Selassie, has Bob Marley, has Peter Tosh, has Bunny Wailer, has anybody we deem necessary for our liberation, who had something, a piece that they added to the puzzle of our liberation. So yes, when we look at that, the fact that Haile Selassie's on there, and Garvey's on there, and Peter Tosh is on there, and Bunny Wailer's on there, and Bob Marley's on there, and even so many right here on there, says yes, everyone had something they offered. We're the only people that reject and want to pick and choose amongst those who were all able and working to save us or liberate us. We saw Henry Clark sit on the same stage with Ivan Van Sertima, sit on the same stage with Dr. Ben Yochanan, sit on the same stage with Francis Cress. I've seen Francis Cress Welsing on the same stage with Marimba Annie, on the same stage with Clenora Hudson Weems, all attacking the same problem from a different vantage point, and they were not debating. They were actually sharing. What happens today is the conscious community, we pick and choose. Brother Polite versus Brother Sarnetta, and Sarnetta versus Alibaba, and Alibaba versus Umar Johnson. And it's become ding, ding, ding. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. And it's crazy. That's not what liberation is. Liberation is the ability for intelligent people to share in ideas and give each other another vantage point or approach. So the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, we don't make separations between those who have come to fight for our liberation. And we don't make separation between the scriptures. Ezekiel had something to offer. Though he was raised in Babylon. Malachi had something to offer. Job had something to offer, though he was raised in Palestine. Solomon had something to offer. Queen of Sheba, Ethiopia, had something to. We don't have to throw away aspects of who we are. We are all of those, yet none of those. We're not merely bound to anyone, so we respect all of the great teachers, all of the great priestesses, all of the great prophetesses and prophets, all of the great liberators, and we will pick from all of them those things that are applicable towards solving the equation of the circumstances we find our lives under for this generation. We welcome all of it, and we reject none of it.
Wow. Powerful, powerful. Got to run to a break here. 96.9. I'm making sure that wasn't the end of the show. We still got more time. 96.9 FM. Guardian Radio, sitting with Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma here on The Revolution. My name is Kahun Anku Sarah. Keep it locked here. We'll be back after this.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Burger King Nassau is taking spice to new heights with the new Baja Whopper and Baja Crispy Chicken Sandwiches. Enjoy your choice of a flame-grilled Whopper or crispy chicken fillet topped with chipotle sauce, guacamole, jalapenos, cheese, lettuce, tomato, all on a fresh potato bun. The new Baja sandwiches at Burger King Nassau pack plenty of flavor, and with an ice-cold Pepsi and fries or onion rings, it's the perfect way to fill your day. The Baja Whopper and Baja Crispy Chicken Sandwich are only available at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
Want to be the MVP of the party for the big game this year? Just take your favorite Frito-Lay chips, Lay's Stacks, or Tostitos and salsa to the party, and you will be the MVP and have a chance to win cash. All you have to do is purchase any large Frito-Lay chips, Tostitos, salsa, or 2 Lay's Stacks from participating grocery stores. Think you can throw the football? Well, come and play the Throw and Win game this Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. at Solomon's Yamacraw. Just throw the football through the uprights with instant prizes, including tablets. Frito-Lay distributed by Island Wholesale.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome back to 96.9 FM Guardian Radio, The Revolution with Juan McCartney. My name is Kahun Anku Sarah, also known as Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. Sitting here with Basesh Hardo Hotep Tar, also known as Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. And really just discussing some things that we see every day in our everyday lives that we don't really have conversations about, especially people of faith. We oftentimes kind of put a, people say put a Band-Aid on the problem. We'll put a Bible verse on the problem. We'll just lay a scripture on there and walk away. But people are left holding the bag of craziness that has been inherited from one generation to the next. A texter just texted in about, because it was been a couple of events of battered women, that's been in the news, and we talk about even the battered men that don't make the news, right? But this texter is asking, is all of this crime and madness, especially black on black crime, does it come from a slave and oppressed mentality, or what?
Well, yeah, the person actually is answering the question that they asked. It is a direct result of not just a slave mentality.
Okay.
People go, what? Because after slavery, we weren't acting like this.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's something to think about.
I don't think if people understand that.
Right.
We weren't acting like this before slavery. We went through chattel slavery, hundreds of years, came out and produced Black Wall Street.
Right.
We weren't acting like this. Had land ownership. Families were intact. All the way through Jim Crow, apartheid, all the way through.
Right.
Wow. All the way through the 60s. We were not acting like this. We weren't all tattooed up, not hating on my people with the tattoos, just saying. We weren't all pierced up, not hating on my people with the piercings.
Right.
We weren't all any of the stuff. I'm not hating on the LGBTQ. I'm not hating on anybody right now. I'm just saying we were not any of this. We were producing at a high level. Families were intact. Couples were getting along. Children were being, we had the HBCUs, Tuskegee University. We had Emory. We had Morehouse. We had Morgan. We had Howard. We had Hampton. We had Fitz University. We was everywhere. We was getting things done. And then something happened.
Wow.
Somebody changed the music.
Oh.
That's when the change
You mean
happened.
The literal music.
The literal music.
Okay.
We weren't like this in the 80s.
Wow.
Not just the crack epidemic. There was a change. There was a musical epidemic where Francis Cress Wilson and Marimba Annie and Joy DeGruy and Dr. Varma and Umar Johnson and Johnny John and whoever else is out here. Somebody changed the music. And we started glorifying our destruction.
Right.
There was a song years ago called "You're Headed for Self-Destruction,"
That's right.
and that was about fixing it.
Right.
And in the song, they said all this music about rat-a-tat-tat and kill. Now we are living. Life used to imitate. Art used to imitate life. Now life is imitating art.
Okay.
The music changed. We're the only people whose music is about rampant sexuality. Not the only people. What used to be punk rock, you know, kill your mother, kill your father, kill the dog, and rape the fish. You know, that's what they used to sing that. Punk rock, acid rock. And we used to, as black people, go, what in the hell? You know, mommy's gonna go. You know, mommy came in the house. That kind of crazy. Daddy's gotta go. We didn't have that. We had it was the 1st of September. Day I always remember. Yes, I will. We had that. I will always love my mama.
Right.
That's what we had. Now Eminem came in and he was talking about sorry mama. I'm cleaning out my closet. You're gonna die. And that took over. And now we got a bunch of kids running around. We got guys who are prostituting women.
Oh, are we gonna talk about that?
Oh yeah. Love, Life, Liberty.
Y'all better get your
We
tickets.
got black men who are prostituting their wife. Oh, I'm sorry. It's an open relationship, wife swap.
JourneyHomeGroup.com.
Yeah, okay, we're going to leave it there. I
Get
know
your
we're
tickets.
too much too soon.
Get your
Too
tickets.
soon.
Get your
Too
tickets.
soon.
Buckle up.
Too soon.
Buckle up. Someone is asking, so we made reference to this whole marital rape situation going on. And they're just asking, can you comment on it?
Well, I'm reading the article.
Yeah.
And then I'm reading here domestic abuse victim in fear after man freed by mistake.
Uh-oh.
Right? So marital rape. Women raping men. Because everybody naturally thinks men raping women. Women raping men. Yeah. I read the article. It says, it's going to talk about women. There's women raping their husbands.
Yeah.
Right? Because when the husband says, I ain't in the mood. I got a headache. Not tonight. That's happening. There's men taking it, as they call it.
Yes.
People would say, where does that come from?
That's the question.
The conditioning.
Okay.
That works both ways. You're my wife, right? Husbands, be thou faithful unto your one wife. Wife, be thou. Okay. So I'm with my wife. And she decides she don't want to have sex no more. And I decide I don't want to have sex no more. Take it either way you want to take it.
Right.
But you can't cheat. Because we married. So my wife ain't getting none no more. I ain't giving her no more. I'm not in the mood. You know, I've retired. I've put it up. Hung up the cleats. Does she have the right to aggressively compromise me? Or vice versa? I'm not pro in either direction, but I'm saying, does it happen?
Yeah.
When you get to the point where you no longer as a man or woman want to sleep with your partner, they're not doing it for you no more, or you just retired. You started having sex at 16 and you burnt out. You ran through so much vagina and so much reproductive penis that, you know, you capped out.
Right. Done.
And now you get with this person and they saved themselves for 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
They only had 3 partners. And they're now ready. They're
Ready
like,
to
hey,
go.
I'm prime ready to go. I done took an I do, put a ring
Right.
on you, do,
Let's do
we
it.
do. And now there's problems. And I love the way when the discussion's being had, I love how it's being deferred. Attorney General, everybody say, hey, be careful how you answer that question.
Yeah.
Because if you say one thing, oh, you pro. No, I'm not pro.
Right.
I'm saying there's variables to the situation that needs to be discussed.
Okay.
Because when it's only a man doing it to a woman, yes, no means no. Okay, so can a husband say no? And how many no's does he get before he's accused of cheating?
Uh-oh.
And that's a real, again, love lies. I can't answer everything on the radio in 30 seconds or less. But in a real conversation, we better start changing the way we think.
Yes.
Changing the way we think, understanding hormones, understanding the circumstance, understanding the television show that we're watching, and the pornography that's subliminally being put in our minds, and the musical pornography that's subliminally being put in our minds to create the condition under which the rape, spousal rape, happens. You cannot condition the human animal and hypersexualize everything. Everything's hypersexualized. Oh, we having parties where women will gather and we got sex toys.
Right.
Okay, now we got this sex toy and we hypersexualize it. And now she does get a partner after 10 years of Duracell.
Right.
What happens? What happens when this man goes and gets a plastic table and puts robotics in it and makes a robot that's sexually gonna take him to a place that he ain't supposed to go? You ain't supposed to have robot love.
No.
But now, or he's watched so much pornography that now he's looking at you as merely flesh to be used for satisfaction, because that lady in the porn video, all she is oohing and eyeing, and this man after man after man, and he wants you to become that, and you don't want to be that. But he's been conditioned, because condition of society says it's okay to go on the computer and watch porn. It's normal to watch porn. It's normal to look at, but it desensitizes you the same way the video game desensitizes a child who plays video games all day. But they don't know how to go to school now and interact with other students, and the teachers are having problems with that. Well, that same child in a male adult or female adult body, that same child is being desensitized sexually, and only sees the opposite sex, or nowadays the same sex, because there's rape happening in the LGBTQ community.
Yep.
No one's exempt because of the over-sensual, the sexual, and the hormones. As we go back to the beginning of this conversation, how the hormones have been hijacked.
Right.
The hormones, when someone's on a diabetic, often because of diet, the insulin production from the pancreas has been overworked. High blood pressure, overworked.
Yes.
Cholesterol, overworking of the gallbladder, the bilirubin, or the bile. All of these things. Well, the same thing happens when it comes to sexuality. Have we overworked the body's ability to produce endorphins, endorphins, oxytocin? And that overworking means now when you are mad at me as women, or I am mad as you as men, we end up using sex as a war weapon. And it ends up where we're reading these articles. You cannot condition a hypersexual society. I go to school as a teenager, girl or boy, and sex is there.
That's right.
We all know it's there. Let's remember. I know for some of us we were dinosaurs, so we got to remember school 70 years ago. But for those who still remember what school was, it was there. But today it's in your face. You got a Facebook, you got a Twitter, you got LinkedIn, you got Cash, you got every type of app that you can imagine.
Yes.
And it's in your face. Born not of the will of man, born not of the will of man, nor of blood, nor of lust, but of the will of God. So we got to get back to that divine will. When they said be fruitful and multiply, we were in the image and likeness of the creator of the angels. And now we're in the image and likeness of the book of Revelations of the beast. And who's the beast? According to the book of Jonah 3:14. The Canaanite, the Girgasite, the Hivite, the Archite, Genesis chapter 9, Canaan, cursed be Canaan. Right. We picked up Greece and Rome.
Okay.
Greece and Rome was orgies.
Yep.
Today, the orgies become wipe swap.
Yep.
Open marriages.
Right.
Open relationship. That's Greece and Rome.
Right.
What happened to Greece and Rome? It fell. What happened to the Canaanite Babylon? It fell. What happened to all of those other civilizations? What happened to the Norsemen with Odin, of the Germanic people? They fell. If we keep following a failing system, a failing society, we too will fail. Yes. It is time to return to our ancient African, melanated, indigenous, Antilles, Caribbean, before all the conquistadors, before Columbus. Go back there. That's the only choice we got. Or we can continue doing what we're doing. And
that's the journey home, eh?
That's making that journey home. Yes. Back to the center, back to the access, back to the cooked. Go back to you, Ubuntu. Yes. I am because we are. Yes. Sankofa. Yes. You must go back to go forward. Mm-hmm. We keep thinking the further we get away from our past, the better it becomes. No, the further we've gotten away from our origin, the worse we've become. So marital rape, fear, spousal abuse are all a part of that system of racism, white supremacy that was put, because we didn't come out of slavery acting that way. I keep saying it. They say, man, the slaves have gotten free, and look at them. They just sleeping around, doing drugs. Last time, look at the massive plantation that was over here, and look at these slaves. No, we were still tight. So slavery didn't break us.
Wow.
It should have, but it didn't.
Right.
Still came out intact when it came to family. Mm-hmm. So what happened? Wow. From the 1969, 1970, we've been on a spiral. The more we become wealthy, and I'm not anti-wealth, but the more we became caught up on wealth, possessed by instead of being in possession of it, society, black families been destroyed. And we got to stop this train wreck that we're watching happen if we really care about our future.
Yes. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Our text line is 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Show is about to wrap up, but we got a couple more minutes, so if we can squeeze a call or two in, we would definitely appreciate that. Let me just quickly read this text here. Love your guests. No weird love. 100. All right. Make sure you join journeyhomegroup.com. You definitely want to be
get your tickets. And when we tell people get your tickets, just so you know, when we do these different events, we are a self-funded church. When you're teaching or advocating this type of thinking, this type of teaching, this type of spirituality, you're going against the system of oppression. So you're not going to get, a lot of grants, right? Let's be honest. And so we take the funding that we generate, and we do projects. Right. We do projects in Liberia, in Ghana, in Gambia, here in Bahamas, in Trinidad, in New York, where we're doing things for children, whether it's doll babies. We did a doll baby gig where we actually gave over $200, $300 to change the white, because that's a part of this destruction. Yeah. You follow the people. Yeah. Some people say, "Oh, the doll babies, what's the waste of time?" No, if the child is looking at an illusion of what they want to have that they can never have if they're going to keep the black family intact, that's a part of the fairy tale, the destruction. So we did that. We did the backpacks Africa, where we gave away over 400 backpacks with all the school supplies for this year. That was a program. We're going to do a literacy program globally here in Bahamas as well, because a lot of adults are functioning, but they're not fully literate. Help people really comprehend what they're reading. We got a lot of Bible reading and Quran reading, but we're not comprehending the verbiage or the nomenclature or the vernacular or the language structure of what we're reading. Right. So we're doing that program. We're going to put together little leagues: soccer, baseball, softball, kickball, uniforms, field, referee, whistle. Everything we're doing is saying we got to gear it towards that if we have any chance. So we tell people, when you're buying a ticket, you're not buying a ticket so Dr. Varma can chill. I don't live that kind of life. Right. Just not that person. Right. But you're buying a ticket, so with these programs that we're doing globally, setting up businesses, doing import, export. Yes. Creating a school, the Coptic Preparatory Academy, on the African continent and branches around the world. We gotta be. Liberation is life, and we know we're not going to complete everything in this lifetime. Our children, our sons, our daughters, grandchildren are going to have to step up. Get your tickets. Love, Lives, Liberation. Journey Home Group, journeyhomegroup.com. Click on the flyer on the home page. Get your tickets. Tune in tomorrow, Saturday, and every Saturday during the month of February. And if enough of us support, we can do that bonus week, that free week.
Hey.
For those who attend the first 4.
Come on, people.
Listen,
Get that
I
free week.
promise you, this is Dr. Bowman. I promise you, if you tune in, you won't be disappointed. You won't be disappointed.
I pray that today's show has edified you as much as we had a good time today. I learned a lot myself. We got texters hitting us up, saying how much they have enjoyed the show. I'm a non-religious gay black man, and I'm loving the contribution of your guests. Despite my own beliefs and personal circumstance, he's making sense. So we ain't judging nobody, and
we need everybody.
Let's
get it done.
Yeah, we gotta get we gotta be involved in our liberation. Thank you, my brother, Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma, for your time and your patience in answering the questions. We appreciate you being here. We want to thank our brother Juan McCartney for throwing us the keys and letting us drive around the block in the revolution. And thank you, the listeners, for texting and calling in. My name is Calhoun Anku Sarah, also known as Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. I am a member and a priest of the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah. Thank you all. Namaste, which means that we bow to the divinity within you. Please, please keep it locked on 96.9 FM. And have a great day. Peace.
So steady, he touches my heart. Now I'm ready. He touches my soul.